Welcome to Wellbeing Wednesdays with Harvinder Narula on BW Wellbeing World. Today I have with me Bhavesh Ji, who's a yogi with a depth of knowledge which is recognized for his simple, practical, and impactful insights on spiritual evolution. Now, as the driving force behind Adiveda Yoga Retreat, Bhaveshi brings a unique perspective to the intersection of yoga, wellness, and personal growth. So let's try and understand his perspective on a few human interest questions that came into my mind. Welcome, Bhaveshi, to BW Wellbeing World.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Bhaveshi, we have often seen that in the traditional era, people used to sit on the floor and eat food. I'm starting with the very basics because food, shelter, etc., touches everybody's life. So in the olden days, people used to sit on the floor and eat food. But in the modern era, we take pride in sitting on a dining table and eating our food. This is an evolution that has taken place in our social structure. Would you like to throw some light in the olden era why it was important to sit on the floor? How did it help people? What was the importance of it to sit down on the floor, on the ground, and consume our food?
That's a very good question. In fact, now while I'm talking to you, I'm sitting on the floor and doing this interview because we are so used to sitting in a certain posture. Why? First, I'll explain you the importance of sitting on the floor, and then we can talk about while eating food, what happens.
Yes.
So when you sit cross-legged and you keep your spine straight, and when you sit generally, it's the best posture at any point of time. At a very physical level, it will help you to maintain the body posture because as we are growing old, you know how the body deforms. Secondly, to sit cross-legged and pull the spine up spiritually is one of the most powerful postures because when the spine is straight, the prana goes up. Now, while eating food, what happens? I'm going to use few shlokas, so I'm just going to refer Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah.
Aham Vaishwanara Bhutva, that comes in Bhagavad Gita all the time. There is known as the Jataragni. We call it the fire of the navel. So when you sit on the floor cross-legged and you bend down towards while eating the food, the gastric fire that enhances and gives you prana all over the body. Secondly, the thing is we have 5 vayus in the body. And again, it is mentioned in Hada Pradipika. These vayus are very, very important. And when you eat food, the prana and the apan, while sitting on the floor, gets dominant and the food has been sucked in the body. In fact, there's another mantra, Brahmat Param Brahmahavir, Brahmatma Brahmanautam. That means it says that everything is pure consciousness. So the food I'm eating with awareness with my hands, the food that I'm eating with concentration also goes, of course, to the physical body, but it is for the pure self. And I don't know if you might be knowing or not knowing the 5 fingers, going to a lower concept or another concept altogether, not a lower concept. In pranic healing, I don't know if you heard about pranic healing. No, when you heal someone,
Yes.
there are 5 chakras or the fingertips are known as where energy enters. So these 5 fingers are associated with the vayus and the elements also. So when we eat the food, we smell, touch, lick, all these properties enhance. So it has many benefits from physical to spiritual. And then generally, one more thing is recommended when you sit on the floor, never sit on the ground directly. Always has a cloth, always see to that you're having a cloth or we use an asan so that the prana goes up because earth works as a grounding and it will pull your prana down. So there are many, many reasons. But secondly, in our generation, those who can't sit down or can't cross legs, sit on a chair. Just be aware of your spine. And while eating, let go of the cell phone, let go of the television. Because at the end, I believe if you're working so hard, at least enjoy your food. That is what we all need.
Right. Also, I've seen that a lot of people, especially the yogic gurus, etc., like for example, Sadhguru also keeps his foot on the floor even when he's sitting on a chair and he's talking, and he's not having a slipper. He's not wearing the slipper in that foot.
Yep.
Is there something?
That earthing, no, earth element is very, very important. electric pin mein do hai, negative, positive, and the earthing. That earthing is what keeps us grounded. In fact, even when we in Rishikesh, at times we walk barefoot because it is very important to make us realize that earth is something very important. And I think the more aware you become, you realize that grounding is very important. It has its own important role on the path.
Right. Bhavesh, it's very interesting. You're a very young person, and since you just mentioned Rishikesh, I know that you were in Mumbai and then you moved to Rishikesh. Tell us a little bit about yourself in terms of how did this spiritual following happen? How did you get into this?
Uh, I personally think, there is karma that comes into play. And I think at one point of time, age doesn't matter. There is beautiful saying, even in Bhagavad Gita and Vedanta, a person who learns to see everything equally is the highest. And this age, color, creed, nothing matters. What I believe in my path is like, or in or on both, inside and outside the path is being in Bombay, staying in London, doing whatever. When the spiritual calling comes, nothing matters. And trust me, you might be having the highest education, you might have traveled the world, you might be knowing everything, but if you can't control your emotion and the mind, you are nothing. So I think on the journey, the first thing that will come to you is this mind, which is bothering everyone nowadays.
Yeah.
And my path, I don't know. I've completely left it in the hands of Shiv. Shiv and Shakti, they take care of everything. And talking about me personally, I, no filter, being very honest, just an instrument taking a day or taking every moment however it comes. And it
Right.
is all thanks to my guru also, of course. Without the guru,
Who is your guru?
my guru is something, she's 84. She's
Uh-huh.
more than 84. And trust me, she's like a rocket.
Uh-huh.
And she doesn't like to come in public and all, but now we are getting her out and she can talk in almost all languages, aware about everything. I think these great enlightened beings, they have broken the so-called foundation that we have of modern education. They are beyond.
Right. And Bhaveshi, I have this one question that has been troubling me all the while, and I want to ask you if that is a reality. And which is that, I feel that when we talk about mythology, we have a lot of things that we see that, पुराने लोग ऐसे करते थे, वैसे करते थे, चमत्कार होते थे.
Ah.
My belief is that our human mind has a power to do a lot of things which we call magical,
Hmm.
right? It's just that we are not using our brains to that extent. But if you were to meditate, जो कहते हैं ना जप तप करके, you can have the power to do all the things with जिसको लोग चमत्कारी बोलते हैं. Is my thinking correct, or is it just mythology कि ये चमत्कार होते हैं, वैसे हो जाता है, वैसे होता है?
I think your thinking is right, but on a personal note, I've met some great saints who had the power to materialize things also. And secondly, our rishis that Bharat has given, they could materialize palaces, buildings, houses, everything. But they
Mhm.
were beyond that. So at the end, the higher tapas you do, or you come into a state of higher states of consciousness, you are in charge of the Panchamahabhutas, that is the five elements of nature. In fact, Maharishi Patanjali in chapter 3 has beautifully explained all the occults. There are hundreds of occults that he has mentioned, and he has made it very clear. All these great saints had innumerous occults, but at the same time, they were not entangled in it. So the
Mhm.
magic that you're talking, everything is possible, but the highest magic is unconditional love.
Right,
If
right,
you have it, then you're the master of this world.
right. Bhavesh, there's a reason why I was asking this, and that is that I also handle the healthcare part of the business for business world, and there is a belief that human body or the human intellect has a power to heal its own body. Would you agree as a spiritual person to this particular fact, or do you think that it is beyond? Uh,
I absolutely agree. In fact, the spiritual journey starts when the intellect stops. So there are few spiritual experiences, those are beyond the intellect. And yes, if your mind is strong, you can heal anything in the world because the entire world starts and stops in your mind. For example, if you close your eyes now, where is the world? When you open your eyes, you come into this, the world come into existence. When you're in deep sleep, where is your mind? The
Right.
world will go on. Again, when you come into dream state or awake state, again, you're active about the world.
Right.
So I will give you a very simple example. If suppose you are injured, the most common example that Vedanta gives, or I'll give an example. Suppose you are very, very injured and at times this snake is coming to bite you. You will forget the pain and you'll run faster than a tiger.
Right.
Where is the mind that time?
Right.
So everything is in your mind. And what happens when you walk on the spiritual path, the entire journey is to go beyond the mind, to make you realize that you're not this body, mind, intellect. So I think everything is possible. And at times I've also seen great, we knew one of the great lady saints. She had cancer and everything. And she was so strong in her mind that she was completely okay. At the end of the day, she's like, I don't want to get operated because I'm not this body, mind, I am beyond. But that experience and this theory is very different.
Right.
So it is possible, 100%.
Brilliant. Um, Bhaveshi, there are these scriptures that have spoken about a lot of things. And the younger generation, many a times, does not understand the science behind it because they question the science behind it. There are certain things, and which the modern day theory, especially when it comes to equality of gender, is being questioned. For example, there is a belief that if a girl is going through her menstrual cycle, she cannot enter a mandir. But if you go back to history, even then they had Kamakya temple or the yoni, which is about the yoni of the goddess is worshipped,
Mm.
and it holds a lot of value in the minds of people. What is the logic and the science behind this, if there is any? Can you explain so that for the younger generation?
I will talk on my personal experiences or what I think what it is. See, actually, if you're initiated in a certain sampradaya is a tradition. There might be tantric, there might be Shaivik, there might be anything. Let's not go there. And you're initiated in a certain guru. Then certain practices and the certain guru will recommend you to go to the temple. First, we'll talk about who should go and should not go. Then we'll talk about the kshetra and the temple. So, in my personal experience, if you're completely new, for example, if a small baby first time touches fire, the baby is going to burn because the baby is doing out of innocence. But now, when you have that knowledge that you're going and going to touch a 10,000 volt electricity, you are going to burn yourself. But if you have trained your body, then that energy can help you to evolve. So when you talk about Kamakya, Kamakya is a living mountain with a deity setting. The mountain is the Bhairava and the deity setting. So I'll come to Kamakya. But when you're talking about why females were restricted during menstrual cycle for the first 3 days, 4 days, or until when they have a head bath, there's a lot of flow of energy. And that energy is supposed to go downward. That is the reason the cycle has started. When you go to a highly charged place, you're taking the energy upward. So you are causing damage to your body. But if you are initiated and the guru has told you and given you certain practices, then that energy can be utilized for other sadhanas also. But for a beginner who's completely new, I would recommend don't go to temples. But yes, you can do your mantra jap, you can pray, you can do your sadhana internally in the mind. Now talking about Kamakya, I'm sure you might be knowing about the Shakti Pitas. One of the four Shakti Pitas, Kamakya is one of the most powerful. And that deity is so powerful. In fact, Kamakya, when you see her as a yoni. And the water there is very, very powerful, very, very charged. But when you see her in a form, she has 6 heads. So the higher deities having higher heads are more ferocious. See, every deity has their behavior also. And Kamakya has certain rules and regulations. When we went there with our team and when we went there to do our sadhana, it was so energetic. When we came back after that, we started realizing what subtle changes were happening in us. So it's a very, very powerful space. So for a beginner, I would personally say don't go there. Or cyclists go because see, if I'm entering your house, suppose I'm आपके घर पे आ रहा हूँ, कुछ rules है, I can't enter with shoes. I have to be well dressed. Similarly, when you're going to a deity, there are a few principles that need to follow. And Kamakya is a very ferocious deity. In fact, Kamakya sadhana is not also easy. Generally, I avoid talking about such topics, but that deity will crush she'll go to your DNA strand, she'll crush your ego to get you out of everything. So that is another concept altogether. So in the beginning, I would request people that do your sadhana at home, do the mantra jap, relax. You don't, because menstrual cycle is very important for future generation also. That is something very important. Without Shakti, there is no Shiv. Secondly, if you're initiated in a certain sampradaya, you have a guru, then the guru will guide you. And thirdly, even if you're cycle or no cycle or any male, female, anyone goes to Kamakya, just do darshan and come out. There are a few things you can't play around with.
Interestingly, Bhaveshi, I've seen someone where, there was a recommendation that the person should do a Mahamrityunjaya jap. And when the jap was being done, obviously it was done by the priest and not the person himself. But when on the final day of that jap, it was done with a lot of great, intent practice.
Yeah.
And the mother of that person says that, वो जब वो last में आते हैं खत्म करके, तो they said कि, whatever the problem that my child is to go through, let it come to me. And few months later, that lady passed away. Now, does this wish during this puja or something be so powerful, or is it just a man ka vaham that ऐसा होता है?
See, first of all, these mantras play a very important role. I'll give you a very simple example. If I'm playing an emotional song, automatically I'll get emotional. Or if I'm going on a drive, I'm playing a very peppy music or something loud, my mood will start changing. These mantras create a space for many, many things that at gross level we can't understand. And secondly, the mother's intention might be very, very high. Our intentions also work. So I think the situation and the place has created that situation. But see again, Vaham ki sacha, it's all in the mind.
Okay, right.
So, and of course, there is karma. Karma comes with everything.
Right.
Yeah.
So let me come to this question. Since you've brought out this thing about it's all in the mind and karma, a lot of people practice Vastu Shastra. And my first question is there a science behind Vastu Shastra? Second is, if there is, that how do you rate it compared to, what is your destiny, your astrology, and what is your karma? What role do they have to play? And the reason I'm asking you again is because aapka jo, one of the things that you do brilliantly is explain it in a simple manner that people can understand. अभी लोग डर जाते हैं कि आपका वास्तु खराब है तो आपके साथ ये हो जाएगा. कितना सच है, कितना नहीं है, और इसके पीछे साइंस क्या है?
See, first of all, you're boosting my ego because I don't know anything because whatever is there is just happening. Secondly, I would like to bring to your notice there are three things you're talking about. You're talking about Vastu, you're talking about astrology, you're talking about karma. So we are going into three different dimensions. This interview can go on and on, but I will cut it short. Vastu Shastra, they are text and very powerful text determining a lot about Vastu Shastra. I don't know who's following the text or no, but there are many people that I also know that they're aligned, they have understood. What Vastu does is allows the flow of energy in a certain area in simple language. At times, you're blocking the flow that is causing hindrance in your personal life, spiritual life, marriage life, work life, whatever. So, Vastu Shastra is a space where you create where the energy can flow and that reflects on your body and everything, and in your flow of energy also. Astrology is something now you have opened another dimension because when I talk about astrology, I'll pick Vedic astrology. Simple. वरना वो खत्म ही नहीं होगा हमारा talk. Vedic astrology is that, what it says, something very interesting. The first 4 seconds that you're born, if a very good Vedic astrologer who has the knowledge can determine what is going to happen in your life to a certain extent. And your Vastu and your astrology, everything at the end, bottomly, is based on your karma.
Right.
And who is a yogi? A yogi is a person who's gone beyond and beyond the understanding of karma and has understood how to nullify that karma.
Okay.
I'm trying my best to keep it very simple because these topics that you have touched are like essays of talks. Yeah, sorry.
No, no. Another thing that is also hits us, especially, and mostly people get drawn towards astrology, palmistry, numerology, or going to a spiritual healer when they are facing some problem in their life,
Yeah.
you know, and then they have every kind of a connotation that they create in their mind as an interpretation of what is being told to them.
Yeah.
One of the areas where there's always a confusion is tantric healing, or some people call it black magic. You
Yeah.
know, in India, the black magic has a very negative connotation and it's considered to be bad. What is your take on this? What exactly is black magic, and is it really negative, or is it something beyond that?
I'm sorry, I'm going to cut you on this. Tantra is something very, very different, and black magic is something very, very different. Tantra is a science that can take you to the highest. When we talk about magic, let me be very precise. Black magic or white magic, any magic is a problem because you're playing with certain elements which is beyond your comprehension. And you're going against the law of nature. So any kind of magic is bad. And Atharva Ved, there's this Ved which talks about Atharva Ved. It has spoken about everything from aliens to this atomic bomb to about these Pushpavan, everything. It talks about black magic, but there magic can be white or black. First of all, is depending upon your intention. Again, it is in your mind. If anything, suppose I'm giving you a flower, that flower is magic. Entire nature is magic. Sun is shining for you, the river is flowing for you. But if I give that rose with bad intention, it will become dark. But when we talk about black magic, it gets deeper. In fact, in olden days, black magic was not bad. It was used to counter other elements. But we people are so miserable, so jealous, and we people can't see others growing. Then we take up to these elements. And nature demands. It will make you pay. She doesn't leave anyone. This entire body belongs to her. And if you think you are going to play with nature, she will demand in return. And that is Shakti. So I personally recommend nowadays what people are doing in black magic. They think they are winning, but they are losing because nature will never let them go. And secondly, if your mind is strong and you have complete faith in divinity, nothing will touch you. Even if it touches you, help will come.
So everything in the mind, and what is important is to have a very clean intention. And if
Intention is
you're doing
very.
yeah, if you have a malice in your mind, that is when the whatever you are doing is black magic. So
So I'll
black,
give you an example. No, if you watch a scary movie,
uh,
I take you for a movie marathon now. It is suppose now 6 o'clock. 6 to 9, I keep you in a dark room. We watch all scary movies from Annabelle to all that. What is that, Chucky and everything. And
mhm,
now in the night, you are here in Rishikesh with me. I take you to a mountain.
mhm,
Okay. And all of a sudden, you will see Annabelle behind. You will see because the mind starts projecting.
mhm,
That is the reason on the path of spirituality, it is very important. People don't understand. People think that a spiritual person is, oh, wearing a langot and not doing anything and sitting like, no, 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 no. You might have mastered your MBA, you might become the greatest doctor. A spiritual person has mastered his mind and the internal journey. So once your mind is strong, nothing will happen because with that comes faith. So there are many things connected.
mhm. And Bhaveshi, the Gita talks about performing actions with detachment. You should focus on what you are doing and not the outcome or the expectation of the end result. How can individuals apply this in their daily lives, especially in today's fast paced work where we create our actions because of a certain expectation out of it and not the other way around? And also, alongside, when we talk about detached life, we think about monkhood and everything. Now, how can we, and in spirituality, I've had this conversation where we're talking of unattachment also.
Yeah.
Detachment is when you detach yourself from but not getting attached is also one aspect.
Hmm.
How can we be detached from people who we have been, born to, or people who are born through us? You know, how is it possible?
You have asked me four questions in one question, so I'm trying to bifurcate how to answer. First of all, is how to act and act without expecting anything. Yogasto Guru Karmani. Okay. Coming back now, very simple. The entire teaching of Bhagavad Gita, if you want to put Bhagavad Gita teaching in a nutshell, it starts with Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetre, and the last word of Bhagavad Gita is Mama Dharma. So, in a nutshell, the entire Bhagavad Gita is my dharma. So in order to explain dharma, there are many things I have to explain, like swabhava, swadharma. But coming back to the nutshell and the crux, what Bhagavad Gita is saying, wherever you are placed in any situation, just give your best. If you have understood the Bhagavad Gita, this is the first takeaway that will come to your head. Wherever you are placed, for example, I'm talking to you now, I'm giving my best. If I'm cleaning the car, I'll give my best. If I'm doing a job and I don't like the job, I'm placed in that situation, give your best. And as you mentioned earlier, anything that we do nowadays, the problem before doing any action, we are expecting results. And the moment you are expecting results, you have binded yourself into karma. Because every cause has an effect. So you have already created that cause. And as I mentioned earlier, nature will give you the effect. It's a Newton's third law when we translate it spiritually, cause and effect. Now, if you understand what Bhagwan is saying, when I say Bhagwan, I refer to Lord Krishna. He's saying only one thing, give your best in every, you don't have to worry about your past, you don't have to worry about the future, nothing matters. Every moment, give your best. Automatically, next thing that you do, give your best. Next thing, you will get what you deserve. I know it is difficult, but trust me, if you start practicing this for 6 to 8 months, there will be a drastic change because the entire cosmic law, the entire Ritam and Satyam, that is Dharma, will start protecting you and guiding you. So the problem is you have to do some sadhana to get here.
Okay.
And having no attachment to anything, anyone, let me be very honest, it is very difficult. I may give you big lectures, it is very, very difficult. But what I have realized, whatever little experience, everything that has come to a start has an expiry date. Everything. From your family, to your friends, to your wife, to your child, to your own body. If you have that practical understanding also, then only you can reflect about emotions. And one more thing about attachment is not others' problem, attachment is my problem. We blame attachment that she's not attached to me, like you're not attached to me, he's not attached. The problem is very simple. Vedanta says something very beautiful. If you try to understand this, you'll understand. The greater the association with the object, the greater the pain you'll have in life. The less the association with the object, the happier you will be. For example, the object is innocent. My association is a problem. So work on that association, automatically you start getting answers.
Right. And Bhaveshi, since you were talking about that everything has an expiry date, one thing every human being or most human beings are scared of or fearful of is their passing away, their death, right? What is your interpretation of death based on your spiritual evolution and understanding from the scriptures, etc.? How can you explain death in a way that people need not fear it?
This is a very beautiful question you're asking, and the answer is going to be very, very detailed, but I'm trying to make it short. You die every day. When you go to sleep in deep sleep, I have a question for you. Where are you? Where is your name? Where is your family? Where is your experience? Where is your power? Nothing. And of course, dream state is different, but when you go in deep sleep, there is nothing. And when you wake up again, you come back in this reality. Okay, we are referring Bhagavad Gita, so I'll just quote that only. If you understand the first three chapters of Bhagavad Gita, automatically your fear of death will go away. It is talking hardcore Vedanta, and it is making you realize that you're not this body, you're not this mind, you're not this intellect, you're pure consciousness. Whatever is going to die is only your body. Just 4 days back, we were in Kashi and we were standing at Manikarnika Ghat, and every 2 seconds, a body was being cremated. In fact, there are 600 bodies that are born every day, more than that. And it's going on for years and years. No one knows when Kashi came into existence. And that moment where you stand, no, you realize that nothing matters. But the problem is, again, when you come out, you forget everything. So, my point is, in order to overcome your death, you have to face your fears and reflect. Because only in the human body you have that capacity to reflect, reason, and experience. I'm talking very practically. There are many sadhanas also. But practically, if you want to, you have fear of death, go stand at Manikarnika. If you have fear of death, you know that someone is going to die in your family. Embrace it, face it, and have a reminder that one day you're going to be there. So before that, be a good human, because when death comes, you're going to die alone.
Right.
It's the fact of life.
Right. And you speak about Diksha,
Yeah.
right? And can you explain in simple words what does Diksha mean and what importance does it hold in our Indian history?
These these can't be answered in simple terms, but
Please go, feel free to
Diksha
answer it the way you want to.
Diksha from a guru is very, very, very important. In fact, we have the Guru Shishya Parampara that goes on, that will go on, and that will go on in future also. It is said, if you read the Ved, Upanishad, the Puran, it is said a guru gives knowledge to a disciple in 3 ways: Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasan. This is how a guru will build up. Then I'll come to how Diksha is given. So, Shravana, when a guru gives knowledge to a disciple as a beginner should just listen and listen from their heart. That is Shravana. So whenever guru is talking, or when we also go to these great gurus, we don't carry a paper pen and all. In fact, my guru will never talk if you're carrying a paper pen and all. She
Mhm.
will make you sit and she'll make you listen, because
Right.
that is how you absorb. So listen through your ears, and listen not through your ears only, but through your heart. Absorb.
Right.
Then manana. Whatever they are saying, don't have blind faith. Contemplate,
Mhm.
reason, question them. If you're not happy with the guru, go to another guru. At the same time, if the guru is not happy, the guru will kick you out. Or the guru will tell you, this is your guru, that is your guru, because the connection is there. And nididhyasana, whatever you have learned, apply it. If that knowledge happens to you, slowly with time, the time will come when the Diksha will happen. Now, Diksha is given by 4 ways.
Mhm.
The first way, the Guru will give you a mantra.
Right.
Depending upon the capacity of the disciple, of the Shishya, the Guru initiates.
Mhm.
So the A, B, C, D, kindergarten, first standard, second standard, and then 10th standard. For a kindergarten, they will give mantra. So chant the mantra to control the mind and go beyond the body. Now, if the guru knows that, oh no, this disciple is very smart, then they may also touch them, even by touch. I'm talking about great enlightened gurus. Huh? Nowadays, there are more gurus and less disciples. But coming back to practical Vedic time, or whatever our rishis have given, the third is just by sight. If the disciple is that mature, by sight, the guru will do everything. And the last, which Paramans Ramakrishna ji did for Vivekananda ji, if the guru willingly keeps their feet on you. So there are 4 ways. Now, what happens after giving Diksha is, suppose, for example, you live in Delhi, okay? Hypothetically, you live in Delhi. I will take a car, and either I can take a car or come by a bicycle. By bicycle, I will take 10 hours.
Right.
By car, I'll take 3 hours. That car is the guru. That guru will give you a jump on the spiritual path, in fact, guide you also. And in fact, even when you die or after your death, the guru will take you to wherever you need to go. So I'm just trying to get everything in a nutshell. Otherwise, it's a very detailed answer,
Right.
and you may go to sleep. Yeah.
Bhaveshi, we've seen people letting go of few things that might not hold an importance in their life anymore. Could be material things, could be letting go of your thoughts, etc. And there are others who hold on to things. They keep everything. I mean, including old clothes, things that
Yeah.
have no importance. They hoard stuff. What do you say is the correct thing to do in your opinion and understanding, with the connotation that material things as well as what experiences that we have in our mind?
Hmm. Maharishi Patanjali has given a very beautiful niyam on it, aparigraha, about holding on and letting go, especially holding on. But I will put it in simple language. You know what you can't let go? You can't let go of your attachment. You can't let go of failure. You can't accept and let go also that someone's better than you. On the other hand, what you can holding on, see, let go, holding on are the opposite sides of the same coin. Let me put it that way. But one thing I would like to bring to your notice is, what is the problem? We can't forgive ourselves and we can't accept ourselves. If they both come to you, simultaneously let go and acceptance will come. And personally, if you ask me in very simple language to get the crux, let go of your ego and hold on to the divine.
Right,
That is the highest.
right.
Because the problem is at times we can't let go because we are trying to make a place in the society.
Mhm.
That fear is the cause of letting go also and holding on also.
Right. That's a very powerful thing that you said, Bhaveshi. Now, Bhaveshi, uh, Diwali hoti hai, we light up diyas and we talk about doing prayers, letting go of evil, and but we all have, what is inside of us, our consciousness, right?
Hmm.
And there is a conversation that happens in today's world. It has always happened, but gurus always talk about that, we have to let go of the evil which is inside of us and defeat that. Now, how does one recognize the evil inside of us in the first place, and what do we do about it? I mean, अगर चोर भी चोरी करता है, वो उसको सही लग रहा है तभी वो कर रहा है, तो
Hmm.
कैसे उसको अंदर पता चले कि दिस इज इविल?
See, the thing is that when we talk about evil, no human is good, bad, or evil or everything. Human are placed in situations or circumstances that is making them do certain actions. And that circumstance or situation is created in your own head. So when you talk about consciousness, that consciousness is covered with that so-called evil, which are the six enemies of the mind, or anxiety, jealousy, fear, insecurity, competition. So the problem is we are ignorant. So as we have been, I don't know, very strange, we have been quoting Bhagavad Gita all the time. How do we work on it? First of all, we'll work on it when we have understanding of, in Vedanta, there is a very beautiful thing. I'm ignorant, a disciple asking Guru, I'm ignorant. Can you explain what ignorance is? So the Guru is asking, if you have answers for these three questions, you are sorted. And the first question is, we don't know who we are, we don't know who others are, and we don't know who God is. So when you pick up the Bhagavad Gita and you read the Bhagavad Gita, purposely first Jnana is given, Jnana Yoga, then Karma is given, and then Bhakti is given. So you will remove the ignorance when you understand who you are. Now, once you have realized who am I, with that understanding, you will work on your this physical karma and be an instrument. And then only you can do bhakti. So it is a process that you have to go through. And trust me, nature is very compassionate. Once you start letting go, she will guide you.
Bhaviji, we've always heard uh, pujaris, gurus talk about 108 beads,
Yeah.
right? And doing reciting the mantra 108 times.
Yeah.
What is the importance of 108? And second is, why Rudraksh only?
Okay, I'll answer these two questions. First of all, 108 plays a very important number. There are many, many examples. One of the example is that it is said that we take 108 steps towards divinity. So when I sit cross-legged and start chanting, from all the different lokas to all the different koshas to all the different sheets, I reach the highest. Secondly, if I talk from a very cosmic point of view, we have 27 nakshatras. There are 27 nakshatras, and I won't go in detail, but I'm just giving you an idea. There, because you'll ask me another question, it will move into astrology, which I'm running away from. Okay, so there are 27 nakshatras and there are four pads. So when you multiply 27 into 4, we get 108. So when you do a job, you take the entire cosmic, you go beyond the planets, you go beyond the dualities, you go beyond everything until you reach your true self. So there are many, many, many explanation, but that taking a cosmic turn is nakshatras and moving to the padas is which I associate. Because one job, if you do with awareness, you will
Mhm.
have a lot of change. Have to do it for a few months to get benefits.
Right. Bhavesh Ji, you know, most of the topics that we are talking of are very deep topics, but
Yeah, I know. It's you asking very good questions, and I feel bad because these topics require like nakshatras breaking into padas or talking about kama. It requires a lot.
no,
So
no,
yeah.
we will do discussions in deep as well. But you had spoken about when we go into sleep, it is
Mhm.
we are experiencing a state of death, and then we wake up in the morning and we come back to life. You know, that's what I heard when you were speaking about that. Except you said that this is not except when we go into dreams, when we're having dreams. Now,
Mhm.
what happens when we are dreaming? And is there some significance of the dreams that we dream? Can you give some examples?
Uh, now again, you have touched a very vast topic, which in Vedantic text or in Tattva Bodh also, it is said that if you are during the day, if you sleep during the day, and if you get a lady sweeping the floor in your dreams, that means whatever task you're going to do will 100% happen. At the same time, few texts is saying that dream is Maya. At the same time, few people are saying that dream, in a simple language, if I put it, whatever unaddressed emotions you have in the awake state, they will come out in your dreams. So there are five different kinds of dream. There are intuitive dreams also. There are dreams relating to future also. It is true. But according to me, everything is a dream. Don't get entangled in the dream.
Okay. And while you were talking about this, something very important came into our mind. हम बहुत बारी, and I'm talking taking to the leadership level with business leaders or leaders in every sphere of life. We talk about facts and figures,
Mhm.
and we want to take decision based on MIS, etc. What are the numbers saying? But as a leader, you also sometimes choose not to do something which is a logical thing to do from the facts and figures. There's something that stops you. हम बोलते हैं यार पता नहीं कुछ intuition है कि ये ठीक नहीं है. या फिर you say that my gut feel says this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Can you explain this?
See, but what if your gut is upset? Then nothing will work. So my point here is, when we talk about intuition, intuition may be right or wrong all the time. You never know. Depending upon your state of consciousness, your intuition changes. For example, if you're a very highly intuitive person, but your mind and your thoughts are not aligned, that day no intuition is going to work. Secondly, the best attitude is what is mentioned in Gita again. Give your best. And I'm telling you something, even as these big leaders or team leaders or whatever they are planning, the result is never in your hands. If you have that acceptance, trust me, you'll be unshakable. You may plan all according to the numbers. I'll give you a very practical example. No, I'm having this cup. No, I'm having water. And my dog comes and jumps. मैंने पूरा प्लान किया कि ऐसे रखूंगा. I'll heat it. I'll add the best tea and all and all. But the result is never in your hand. And once you have that understanding, emotionally and mentally, nothing can move you.
And
So
when people
I'm saying at the same time, give your best, but also be ready that you will get what you deserve.
and बहुत बारी हम बोलते हैं कि this was ये तो destiny है. ये
Uh-huh.
तो this was destined to happen. We also say that you and me, for example, are destined to meet. for some reason. Is that, what is your interpretation of that?
You're going into a topic which I love, and it is so detailed that
But
you will
I,
have to
I would
talk
love
to
to get your perspective on this.
me till tomorrow. There is nothing called free will or destiny. Of course, let me come back. These great enlightened beings, they have free will. They can leave the body at will, and they can do so many things like Devra Baba and all. They were great saints. About destiny, when I say, generally in English, when we speak about destiny, it is always somewhere in the future. And if you're talking about now destiny, that means मेरा destiny था आपसे मिलने के लिए. That means from now on, until we both die, we will be talking to each other. Because destiny means termination about something. So we don't have destiny. We have a karmic law that is working.
Mhm.
And remember one thing as the Gita is teaching, your life is in your hands. Either
Mhm.
you drive it to the highest or you get destroyed in the darkness. It is in your hands.
Right. Bhavesh, when we talk about spirituality, I've seen that people work throughout their life. They work on the basics of their life: food, shelter, clothing. Then they try to secure their family. Then they are trying to build their business or their work. Then they're looking at fame. और जब सब कुछ मिल जाता है, वो कहते हैं अब मैं I now want to move towards spirituality. I want to volunteer and do good things. The self-actualization state, as what we talk about in the Maslow's need hierarchy.
Yeah.
And they're talking about खुशी चाहिए, सुकून चाहिए. तो दैट मीन सुकून अभी तक मिला नहीं जो आपने कुछ किया. If that is to be true, how can we bring spirituality at the bottom of the pyramid so that we find the state of joyousness in everything that we do for all these years through every phase of our life? And how do I explain concentration, spiritual mindset to a child so that he grows with this concept and it is a part of his life?
You have again asked me so many questions in one, but let me start with the triangle thing. But imagine that. Have you seen the phrase, the dog's tail can never be straightened?
Yes. Yes.
Imagine now for my example, for so many years of my life, I'm conditioned for one thing. Do you think at the end of my life I will change? No, very difficult.
Yeah.
And I have seen many people that they have name, fame, power, game, everything. And they tell me that, you know what, Bhavish, after 2 years, I'll stop everything. I will take it easy.
Mhm.
And this they have been telling me for past 10 years. Because when they try to take it easy, they can't accept that space.
Right.
So at certain, and let me be very honest, even if our parents now, if I try to change them, they will not change
Mhm.
because they have been conditioned.
Right.
Like this happens in every generation.
Uh,
Or even youngsters, if I tell that my young cousins behave like, they will not because they're conditioned. So if you think that at one point of time you will change, it is not going to happen. Change will happen when you decide, or that is the reason some great tragedy should happen in your life that will make you change. Emotional or something. That is the time you realize. And secondly, if you get the spiritual understanding at the base level, then trust me, you're the most powerful person. Because any action that you'll do will be as an offering. It will not only uplift yourself, it will uplift others, and you will be a walking saint on earth.
right.
Because you will do everything out, and any action that you will do, maybe just plucking a flower, maybe giving food to someone, maybe talking, it will be accurate because you'll be in complete synchronicity. That is very rare.
Right.
And the
Bhavesh,
third question about talking about young generation, uh, by my guru's grace, of course, we are running a school in the mountains and they're small children. In order to teach or explain anything to the child, you have to become a child. And children, these children are so smart. They will not pick up by what you're saying, they will pick up by your action.
mhm.
And there are moments when we teach in the mountains. These kids are fabulous. They walk for 5 kilometers, 10 kilometers barefoot. If I pick up any child from a metro city, he will run away from the mountains. Won't even survive for one night. But these mountain kids, when leopards and all come, they know what to do. They are that fabulous. And I've realized these children, when we are teaching, you think they are not listening to you, they are listening everything, they are aware about everything. So in my personal experience, we want to teach them, you have to live that way, and there's a method of teaching. And I think our generation, like today's parents, they have to become pillars.
हम्म। तो सर भावेश जी इसके अंदर जब आपने बच्चों की बात कर रहे हैं स्पेशली यू नो व्हेन यू टॉकिंग अबाउट रनिंग अ स्कूल one question that comes into my mind is that children of today find it very difficult to focus and concentrate and like you said हमें लगता है कि वो सुन नहीं रहे हैं समझ नहीं
Yeah,
रहे
yeah,
हैं
yeah.
ठीक है is there a way that you have observed to work with children so that they start focusing and not get distracted easily because
Yeah,
there are a lot of distractions that we have today.
yeah. So, when you teach children, no, the normal education system doesn't work. That awareness of two twos or four twos will not work depending upon, and more than that, till 12 years, they and their own, don't make them do any practices, no asana, no, because the body is still growing. And the best exercise for children is what we have realized is Tratak. That helps a lot to get back to their concentration. Like those who are studying and all at that age group, Tratak is an exercise or is a kriya where we keep a diya at 1 arm distance away from the eye, and you tell them to focus slowly, slowly. Play it as a game. It will help them a lot. We have done with many children. So it works. Basic things.
Fantastic. Bhaveshi, my last question to you before I let you go. I know we've completed an hour, but
Oh,
this one
yeah.
one last question that I have is, uh, we are talking about law of attraction these days. Is there some mention on the concept of law of attraction in our scriptures? Is there a way that the scriptures explain law of attraction?
See, I will tell you the law of karma is the highest law. Now, law of attraction, I'll tell you. I'll give you an example. Law of attraction is when you are attracting something, right? Or when you're thinking about something. Am I right at this? Like there are different
Absolutely.
levels, there are different laws in attraction also, but simple like if for example you are focusing or you're attracting that you get the newest iPhone.
Mhm.
Now, very simple. Any cause that you have given, you will have an effect.
Mhm. Right.
So if you may get the iPhone or not get the iPhone, you already bind it to that in your mind.
Mhm.
And anything binding in the mind will give you problem.
Right.
But if I'm praying for an iPhone, if I get it, I'm okay. And if I don't get it, I'm okay. You're on the spot free.
Right.
Because every law has rules and regulations, and every law has terms and conditions.
Mhm.
So it is binding. And I think any law that you enter has repercussions.
Got it. Bhaveshi, this conversation is unending. I can sit with you for hours and hours to talk about, questions that come to my mind. And I will do that sometime later as well. But the two big takeaways from this conversation that we've had today, which is, I think, stayed back in my mind through this conversation, is one, uh, an understanding that from the, Bhagavad Gita, that whenever you are placed in any situation, whatever you do the best in that. And that, my understanding is what we could probably refer it to be our dharma. That,
Yes.
whatever you do it the best.
Do it the
This,
best.
yeah. And the second thing is that, the concept of detachment or unattachment is extremely powerful. I mean, in the last answer also, you just said when you were talking of iPhone, I think the difference between the two situations is the attachment that you have with that thing
Yeah.
versus you say that, I wish I have this, but nahi hoga to tab bhi theek hai. So the greater the association with the object is what you mentioned, quote unquote, the more will be the pain around it. you
Yes.
know so these two are the big takeaways that I get from this particular conversation. I must thank you for taking out time to be with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah,
Very
and
welcome.
gratitude to you.
Gratitude. Thank you. Hari
Thank you.
Om. Thank you.